tracking down some folks that did well this past weekend, including a driver who had a very emotional win on Friday night at Brewerton Speedway. Not only was it the first big block win for 21-year-old Jackson Gill, but he, of course, was a DIG Race Products driver. If you saw the video, they did the missing man formation for Dale Planck on Friday night at Brewerton, and the guy who was to the outside of where Dale would have been on the pole is Jackson Gill. He joins us right now. Not only, like we said, his first win, but an emotional one at that. So let's head up to Plessis, New York, which will soon be called Gillville, because that's where all the Gills are, is up there. He also ran at Cornwall. Didn't quite go as well as Friday, but let's say we've got Jackson Gill on the line with us right now. We're looking at a picture from a couple of weeks ago. How we doing, man?
We're doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for making time for me. We've been chatting the past couple of days about doing this, so I guess we'll get the talk about Dale a little bit first. You said maybe it was as good that you didn't get to do Victory Lane, that they were pushing the show along, because it probably would have been a tough one for you.
Yeah, I was definitely choking up my words to Dad after the race. You know, it was just one of those things where we could sit in silence and, you know, kind of remorse on Dale, and we really do think he was there that night, just, you know, helping us along. Everything went so smooth and our way for once. It was a pretty surreal night, you know. Starting up front obviously helped, so, you know, getting a win was a little bit easier. I just had to focus on hitting my marks and keep my speed up and making sure nobody gets under me. And, you know, 35 laps went pretty quick, you know. Usually you're looking up at the lap counter,
yeah.
And I was just kind of trying to stay locked in and hit my marks to my best. And next thing I knew, it was all over, you know.
So were you thinking about Dale before they went green, kind of looking over to your left to see it?
Yeah, the missing man formation, and, you know, it's just you and your helmet and the race car, and they're doing the missing man formation, and I look over to my left, and I can almost see a shadow right next to me, you know. It was just one of those things where it felt surreal. It didn't really feel like real life, because he was just there last Friday, and then he's gone the next day, and, you know, now we're doing a missing man salute for him, you know. So it was pretty tough and emotional, but you know, it was still a pretty good night, and we'll definitely remember it for the rest of our lives.
And like you said, I'm sure Dale was watching. What were the main things he used to tell you? Because a lot of the guys have taught me, you know, just from what I've been talking over the last week or so, it wasn't just the shocks. It was a lot of times it was the advice. What kind of things would he have told you that night if he was there, do you think?
Well, just he always had a good eye for what the car needed, and he was in that position before, just being able to, you know, drive and know what he likes. But he also had the mathematical numbers too, and he'd always talk numbers with you, and there was no guessing with Dale. He always had the numbers, you know. It was always that. He's really good at math. I've learned that over the years. He can just do it in his head, and he's working with so many race teams, and he'd be able to focus on your race team from, you know, 2 months ago, and he'd remember all that stuff right off the top of his head. He was so smart with all that. Well, and I'm not. I'm more of a go with the flow kind of guy, and, you know, whatever the car feels like it needs, you know, I conversate with my Uncle Bill, and he helps us a lot too with setting up the car. But mainly shocks is what Dale always, okay. You know, what Dale was a big relation with us, is just figuring out what I like for shocks and custom tailoring the shocks to me. And I finally got on a program where I'm super comfortable with the shocks that I'm running because of Dale, and he can really correlate the driver feel to how they are, you know.
Nice. So tell me about the race. To start on the outside, any interesting moments? Anybody catch you? Any lap traffic? Anything like that?
Didn't even hit lap traffic. It was smooth sailing. I was all by myself in my thoughts and just hitting my marks every lap, and it was a pretty easy night. We started second in the heat too, so qualifying was pretty good, and we finally got the car righted around, so it had a little bit more drive. You know, we started up front because we've been so bad these past 3 weeks, and, you know, we went back on our notes to when we were running a little bit better, and, it kind of woke the car up a little bit. I wasn't really confident in the car at the end of the night. It was really good handling. I mean, we won, but if I had to start behind Tim Sears, it probably would have been a different story. He's
Gotcha.
been so dominant there this year, and he had to go through a whole mile of traffic before he got to my rear end, and then I was kind of just trying to hit my marks, and he was gaining on me towards the end of the race, but luckily it was only 35 laps and not 50, and we were able to secure it and get the win.
So a late caution is what the last thing you wanted, then, isn't it?
Oh yeah, if there was a caution, I really would have had to get up on the steering wheel and to get Timmer. But at least it would have probably made a good show for the fans. We always like, even if we did get second, it's just nice to put on a show for the fans.
Nice. Things didn't go as well on Sunday at Cornwall, though, you told me.
Yeah, it was a tough night. We brought the big block to the big block race right after. We had to get the car flipped around for Cornwall from Brewerton, so we only had a day to do that, and got the car washed up and headed over to Cornwall, and just kind of made the wrong call. It was getting a lot of rain, and we were kind of anticipating the track to be a little bit heavier, and it didn't. The guys over there at Cornwall, they're really good on their track maintenance, and they were looking at the forecast ahead, and they sealed up the track the day before, and it was really good racing, clean, slick. There was still grip out there for the big block for a little bit, but towards the end of the night, we started fading away, just racing that big, heavy, big block around there. You're never on the gas. The whole feature, I
Really?
never pressed the gas fully. I'm being honest. I never pressed the gas fully. It's riding around in standstill traffic, kind of. That's kind of how it feels like. You got to slow down for the corner right when you get out of it.
Now, it looked like a fun track, too, but I can imagine, like you said, what it must have been like. So it ended up getting real slick, basically, since it was sealed?
Yeah, it's a bull ring there, and it's usually got a nice brown strip of brown on the outer ring, but it drops off, so you can't go over the bank or you're going to really lose some time. So it's a fine line between fast and off the racetrack and slow. So it's a fun track. It's tricky.
Yeah. If you guys never been, by the way, make sure to get up there. So busy week for you this week. What do we have? We have 3 races in, 5 days, I think it works out to be.
Yeah, we're going to be having 2 days off and racing for a few months. It feels like we're going to be racing Wednesdays a lot here. So it'll be Friday, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Wednesday for quite some time. We got the PAP shootout Wednesday that we're looking forward to, getting up to our home ground there at Can Am Speedway and looking to have some fun and hopefully a good run. We've had some success there this year, and our small block cars really showed speed throughout the year. It just depends on us if we show up to the plate and hit all our marks with the setup and whatnot.
Yeah, so 358's sprint cars. It's the first night of Speed Week for the Empire Super Sprints. And, of course, Sportsmen are on the card at Can Am. He'll be back at Brewerton on Friday, hoping to double up, and then back at Cornwall again on Sunday. Jackson, again, thanks a lot for making time for me. This went super quick, so good luck with everything. I hope you have a great week, and hopefully it won't be too long before we get to do this again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy talking to you, Doug.
Same here. So I'll see you Wednesday up at Can Am, okay, man?
All righty, have a good one.
Guys, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications, leave a comment. Please hit the likes as we're getting a lot done this week. And we will be at Can Am this Wednesday night.